Hello fragrance fans. So as promised, I figured I would do a quick overview video, just giving a run through of all 34 scents that I saw in the test store I went to, the Bath & Body Works White Barn Candle Company store. But for the true fragrance fans, like I know most of you are, I wanted to do individual videos across the 4 different collections, the way I did for the fall autumn collections. It seemed to work really well to split them up into 4 different videos. I know that some people prefer one collection versus the others, or they may not be interested in all of them. Or rather, so I figured it would make it easier to do it that way, and then break down and give really in-depth opinion and notes and first impressions on all of these. And I may actually end up doing some more in-depth comparisons to older scents that I don't have in front of me right now, or let you know how I feel once I burn them. I know some folks ask for my opinion once I've burned them, because it can change whether you have a true dud or just a candle that has an amazing throw that you didn't expect, or sometimes every once in a while something will smell a little bit differently once you burn it. First up, we're going to go with what was my favorite collection, somewhat surprisingly, within the 4 collections for the winter holiday at Bath & Body Works, which was the White Barn Winter. Again, as you see here, we've got Vanilla Cedarwood, Vanilla Firewood, Apple Garland, Winter Fig, Good Natured Christmas, and Autumn Snow. Not pictured, but in test stores are Snowed In, which is returning from last year. Really, really nice. White Barn number 2, Chestnut and Clove, which is a must-have. I love that scent. It was known as Winter Cabin in 2011 and White Barn number 2 last year. Also, the Slacken & Co. Classic Winter Scent. It appears in the White Barn label as well as the Snow Day label, just because it's one of those scents like your fresh balsam, your sweet cinnamon pumpkin, your leaves, that so many people love it, and they know that people prefer one label to the next, so they just put it in a few different collections, which, as strange as that is, they continue to do that. And the only other one I did not purchase from that would be the Classic Fireside, which I was thrilled to see back. I was worried it wouldn't come back, but it is, and you can't go wrong with that one. So, let us dive right in. First up, and sorry, I apologize for the lighting, but I wanted to get these videos out there. I know people are sort of clamoring. So I am going to try to pull these down to get you a little better lighting here, because it's dark outside, obviously, so we're not seeing a lot. So this is Vanilla Cedarwood, if we get focus. Alright, so I'm not sure how accurate the colors are showing up for you here, since I'm using artificial lighting, but this is sort of it's kind of an ugly, just a caramel color candle. Vanilla Cedarwood, it looks like a tree covered, I suppose a cedar tree, covered in snow with pops of, it's almost like a fruit, like a pear or something on the trees. I don't really know. The notes on this one read, a creamy vanilla blend that captures the beauty of a dusting of woodland snow, features cedarwood and amber notes. So they're not giving us much. Like, the name is Vanilla Cedarwood, and they're telling us vanilla, cedarwood, and amber notes featuring those 3 notes. So not super helpful. But if I sniff it, let's just see how that goes. For something with cedarwood, it's much lighter than I expected. I do get a creamy vanilla. This is a weird candle. It doesn't really remind me of anything in years past, which is kind of good. I like, true new scents or newness. And this is good. The amber, I would almost say this reminds me a tiny bit of last year's Cashmere, way toned down. I burned that sucker once or twice, and I hated it, and it's sitting in my closet, and who knows when I'll even light it at all this year. I get a tiny bit of that, but there's a little bit of sweetness to it, a little bit of a tiny bit almost perfumey. So I'm getting folks back that always blame it as a men's cologne. This is a little feminine, like a little bit of a grandma perfumey. Not intensely, but maybe that's just the amber, since amber is not a note that we get a ton in the candles. But yeah, it is, I suppose, a creamy vanilla. Not at all a foodie vanilla, though. It is like a home fragrance, a light vanilla bean home fragrance. Cedarwood is there. Cedar is usually sweetwood. If you smelled Cedarwood Trail from the fall collection, which I believe was a test scent, or anytime they include cedarwood, it's usually a little sweeter, a little bit sort of, oh gosh, maybe a wet wood, a little drippy, a little cloying almost sometimes, kind of resinous, yeah, just not a dry wood, kind of a light, little bit sweet, almost syrupy kind of wood. So you got that, and I suppose the little bit of amber there rounds it out. You know, I've said in videos before, when you throw in amber or musk or sandalwood, that sort of is like the big thing that hugs every other note in the candle and ties it all together, which can be good or bad. This is nice. It's surprisingly light for a cedarwood, vanilla cedarwood candle. I think it's going to be nice. I was pleasantly surprised when I smelled it. So that's that. Let's move to vanilla firewood, which I'm based on the notes and other things. I'm gonna guess that this one might be a test scent, but time will tell. So again, I apologize. I should have done this video in daylight, but here we are. So the label on this one, I always like to get you guys focused. I know that you love to see it. Looks like just a clay mug sitting in front of a fire. Pretty basic. It's a that weird sort of greenish gray wax that they've been using a lot lately in the White Barn collection. And the notes read, a smooth blend of creamy roasted vanilla, smoky firewood, and a hint of cedar that's the perfect match for any holiday evening. So what's weird is, like, vanilla, this is why I think it's possibly a test scent. Vanilla cedarwood was creamy vanilla, cedarwood, and amber. This is creamy vanilla, cedar, and firewood. You know, whatever smoky firewood means. And roasted vanilla. Never really heard of vanilla being roasted, but there's a first for everything. And if I sniff this, it's nice. The vanilla, to me, maybe because it's roasted, again, whatever that means, the vanilla comes off a little artificial to me, actually. It's got the firewood of, say, a very subdued fireside. I almost don't want to call it fireside, but it's the similar type of notes. It's not your maplewood bonfire, applewood bonfire, not the marshmallow fireside smoldering heavy woods. It's not a heavy scent. It vaguely reminds me of something in the past, maybe, but nothing great. I would pass on this. This is one of those ones that I was kind of excited because it was new and I was in the store and in a rush and I knew I wanted to review new stuff for you guys, so that's why I grabbed it. But if I was just purchasing for me, which I should be doing, but I am guilty of, you know, going overboard sometimes, I probably wouldn't have grabbed this one. It's very basic light, and again, the vanilla is kind of, it's kind of thin. It seems like this is like a candle missing something. There's not enough going on. It's too light, and then what you do get in there is just kind of smoky, but not like a rich, earthy, you know, hickory or just strong smoky. It's more like, you know, you were camping and when you get home you smell your jacket and it stinks like a campfire. That's kind of more what this is, with a little bit of a slightly sweet vanilla in it. So kind of a miss, but you know, that's to be expected along the way. Then we've got apple garland. Now we've had a lot of soaps and you know, antibacterial things over the past few years that have sounded like either apple garland or apple wreath or, you know, things along this line. So I was expecting to be somewhat familiar with this scent. Again, sort of the greenish beige blah kind of smoky looking wax, which I almost wonder if they're doing this instead of white candles because the candles turn sort of that dank kind of gross gray sometimes halfway through. I wonder if they're doing this to try to offset how obvious that is. Hard to say. But this one is just basically apple garland. Pretty straightforward. Seems like, I'm not sure, it's in, what is that, like a tin cup or mug or planter with just some sort of greenery, a little bit of snow, and a few berries on it. Okay, and the notes are, celebrate the season with an abundant blend of apples, ripe cranberries, and fresh balsam. So you think, is that towards 'tis the season because it's an apple scent in winter? Apples usually fall or transitional. But again, they're not telling us a whole lot. Apple, cranberry, balsam. That's keeping it pretty basic. This is really nice. I wonder, I think this may be that apple spruce, or, you know, the White Barn Merry Christmas 2012 candle from last year that was that weird sort of limited edition scent that came out on Black Friday. I don't know, though. Sorry to take it out of review, but I want a deep sniff. This could be that. I have one in storage, but I'd have to dig it out, and I wanted to get this video filmed. it could possibly be that. I feel like this might be a little bit fresher, a little bit more obvious with the apple notes than the apple that was in that one. Again, also that said spruce, and this mentions balsam, so I'd assume if it was truly balsam, or rather spruce, that it would, there's no reason they would hide that. They have no fear of showing off repackages, so I'd assume it would be called apple garland, and then it would mention spruce. As far as cranberries and balsam, I suppose there is, gosh, this reminds me a little bit of something. It's got to be that one. I think it's that one. Is it? Maybe it reminds me a little bit of Merry Mistletoe, actually. If you remember that one from 2011 and 12, I think that one was just like, it was more cranberry, mint, and evergreen or something. I have one of those in backup too. I actually think this could be that. Scratch that. So I think it could be either, it's a familiar scent. If it's not a repackage of the White Barn Merry Christmas, or White Barn Christmas 2012, it may be the Merry Mistletoe. Not quite as strong, so either a combination of those two or something familiar. So if you know those two, you know this candle. Again, I always like to compare scents that you guys have mostly, or you gals and guys, have sniffed before. So this is in that family of scents. It's not it's very fresh. The bit of pine or balsam that's in this is not really overwhelming in any way. So it's very nice. Slightly basic, or again, slightly familiar, but still very nice. Then we move on to our second level here, Mr. Autumn Snow. And so this one, we've got, again, the beige-ish green wax. Looks like a girl. I don't know what she's doing. She's in, whatever, a forest of trees picking, I don't know. The girl's walking with a basket with a bear and an aloe plant and a bird cage. I don't know. I can't get too in my head about these because I drive myself crazy. Anyhow, autumn snow. What are the scents or the notes? Experience the magical first unexpected snow of the season with a crisp blend of peppermint, evergreen, and balsam. All right. So again, these are notes that we see across the board in many of their scents, but peppermint, evergreen, and balsam. All right. So I, over the past few years, have come to really love almost any pine scent. It's surprising, in years past I didn't like evergreen, and then last year and the year before I loved it. Burn the heck out of that, burn out the heck out of fresh balsam. Give me almost any pine if it's nicely done, and I will love it. So I was looking forward to this once I saw the notes. And it is so great. I love this candle. Oh, I just love it. I can't tell you how much I love this candle. And I like that it's autumn snow. It's a weird one. It is transitional. There is something that is kind of oddly warm about this. And maybe I'll mention in my video of the Snow Day collection, Snow Day over there has similar notes, but a completely different mood to it. And it's got similar notes listed, and when you sniff it, you can pick out, oh, this is the mint, this is the pine. But the moods are totally different, which I think is what's so fascinating about them. And they really match the collections they're in, which is nice. This is a warmer, snowy, outdoor scent. It's almost like an indoor scent. You're indoors, but you're smelling this outdoor scent. And you get just a really lush blend of evergreen. So it's not overly intense with your balsam, because it is evergreen and balsam, isn't that right? Yes, evergreen and balsam. It's more evergreen than balsam. If you know balsam as the fresh balsam candle, that sucker is astringent, it's strong, it's in your face, it is outdoors, it is whoosh. That is a heavy, heavy, fresh scent. This gives you a little bit of that to get you outdoors, but it's more evergreen, more traditional. Along with peppermint, the peppermint is really hard to pick out. It's not the way that Twisted Peppermint is. It's not an invigorating mint at all. It's in the background. It's just there as like a little hint of something that makes it other than a pine candle. And really, when I smell this, I think it's actually in my opinion, welcome dupe of a fall test scent that seems to have not gone wide, which I've got right here, Pinecone. If you watched my White Barn autumn videos, you remember I loved this one. And the notes on it are spruce, evergreen, and hint of cypress. Now, cypress, I believe, is a green. It's it's tree. I think it's more of a green note. And this, I mean, yeah, there's pretty much no doubt in my mind that, yeah, that's the same candle. Or I'm completely insane, but they're the same candle. Even the wax is the same. It's like they could have had these suckers poured and threw a new label on them. It's funny because it lists, you know, it's a few different, apparently, if they're saying spruce, evergreen, and then the other one had evergreen and balsam. So say spruce, evergreen, and balsam, which is fine. This one mentions cypress, the other one mentions the mint. It goes to show the mint is really in the background. It's not an overbearing mint, since they didn't even have to mention it on the pine cone label. But I love this. I'm ready to burn this now as I'm in full autumn candle swing here. It's just so good. And I'm glad they're trying it as autumn snow, seeing if that one sticks, because pine cone I think just sounded so basic. You think pine cone, you think it's going to be like evergreen or any other generic pine scent. And they have evergreen in the home fragrance for like the scent portables. Sorry, pine cone. I don't know what I said. Pine cone in the scent portables, and it's a different pine. Nice, but it's same name, completely different scent. So I'm glad they're trying again. It's kind of sweet. I'll give it that. It's a little bit sweet. Sweet. Yeah, like you've got lots of different pines going on. A little hint of mint, but it's still warm. It's not a cold scent. I completely love it. It's cozy. To me, it works similar to, say, the Snowed In candle. It's that same kind of a little sweet, clearly outdoors, a little bit of woods, just a really fantastic blend. So I'm really hoping, if you guys are, you know, test scent purchasers, please pick that one up so that everyone else can experience that with a wide release. So that is that one, Pinecone / Autumn Snow. Then we've got an oddball. This sucker, when I see candles like this and sniff candles like this is when I say, why are they not bringing back some of, you know, Sleigh Ride or Deck the Halls or Winter Garland or Vanilla Spice. I'll probably mention that in every one of my videos. I'm sorry to bother you, but, you know, on the off chance that anyone who's responsible for the candles at Bath & Body Works hears me, hear my plea. Those candles were just so unique. They were your scents. Some of these scents are just so, like, you're just, I don't know if you're cutting costs or what, but it's just, you know, it's more mass market, more generic, more safe. And these are test scents. You've got test stores for a reason. Test the candles, test the weird stuff. As time, you know, the past year or two, we've seen way less creativity, and I don't know if that's truly the lack of slacking or, you know, they want less wasted candles, which, again, it's business, whatever. They do what they do. But I'd love to see more creativity and risk-taking with their candles. Rant over. This is White Barn Good Natured Christmas, which, even the name for this, I mean, I don't know. It's like, I'll call it Holly Jolly Christmas, but Good Natured Christmas, as opposed, it just seems so, you know, like, you know, charitable walk evening. It's just strange. I don't get it. A nice cranberry scent. Just a barn. They should have called this, you know, a White Barn something something. And the notes in this: created to be shared with the ones you love, a good-natured Christmas generously blends creamy white birch, smoked vanilla bean, and a hint of musk. Now, raise your hand if you would have guessed the notes of a red, good-natured Christmas candle would be white birch, smoked vanilla bean, and musk. I don't know what they're thinking. That's so weird. Again, this is the second time we've seen smoked vanilla bean. If you've got woods and musk, I don't think you need to add smoked anything in there, especially if it's just called Good Natured Christmas. Not for nothing, I don't love Yankee, but they don't release weird candles like this. It's just, I don't get it. White birch, you know, was in a test scent, whitewater birch, in the, you know, like April, and they in random White Barn spring test collection, with some scents that went wide for autumn, you know, your sage and cedar and things like that, your sandalwood citrus. So it's just, I don't know what they're doing in a Christmas, literally a Christmas candle. Not just a woods or winter, but a Christmas candle. It's so strange. Now, the weird thing is, I do get some sort of sweetness that I assume has got to be some sort of fruit. Like, sorry, I've got to sniff this up close. It's almost, it's weird, because I don't get such. Normally, birch is almost sometimes an astringent or really bright, intense, fresh wood. I don't get that so much with this. Smoked vanilla bean, I get. It's almost. This almost seems like a slightly sweeter, almost like a. I don't want to say sugary, so let's say cloying or drippy, if that makes any sense, version of like a toned down summertime s'mores or marshmallow fireside. Really weird. The musk, I don't know. It's like a little, I almost want to say toothpastey. Like I almost get a little hint of cinnamon, but I don't think there's cinnamon in this. Yeah, it's like because of the vanilla bean, and because it's a smoky or smoked vanilla bean, I actually get this. It's giving me a version of marshmallow fireside, a very light, or well, not very light even. It's a toned down version of that. I guess this was a little hint of something that maybe I guess perhaps it's the birch. I don't think so. There are notes in here that they're definitely not listing that do give it a little bit more of a Christmas feel than a fall or summer scent of the Summertime S'mores Marshmallow Fireside, grouping. It's a little bit of a Christmas, and it is a very traditional Christmas. Not that I would ever think Christmas when I smell this, but if it is Christmas, it's not a contemporary Christmas. It's not an authentic outdoors Christmas. It's sort of, myrrh or something like really traditional kind of Christmas. So strange. I don't know that I like that. Very weird. Good-natured Christmas. Good for you. And then finally, the last one that I grabbed in this collection is Winter Fig. And I was excited to see this because it seemed truly new. Fig is an interesting note. Some people hate it. I tend to like it if it's done appropriately. Like, your Autumn Day acorn and fig. It tends to add like sort of a creamy fruit or a dried fruit note that is not overly juicy and just adds a little bit of sweetness. So this one, it's got a nice bright green wax. It's got some frosted leaves on there. It reminded me actually a little bit of the leaves used in the Mountain Leaves candle from 2011 and as the fall candles. Oh, almost dropped that, you guys. Whew, Winter Fig. Embrace the approaching winter with the fragrance of a fresh fig blended with black spruce and a hint of sugar. Now, I'm not sure the difference between black spruce and spruce, or if there is a difference. But fresh fig, sugar, and spruce. So mint, some fruit, and some sugar. I'm liking how it sounds. And it's really good. Again, this is the way that I said Good Natured Christmas reminded me of a classic Christmas scent. This one definitely makes sense in White Barn and not in the Snow Day collection. It's not perfect, but it's definitely... It's not just sugary. It is. I would say it's an iced fig. The spruce brings in enough of the cold, the coldness. I was going to say cold air, but not cold air, just the coldness. I'm not loving this as much as I did when I first purchased it, but... it's a little bit more towards something slightly herbal, the way that Deck the Halls or Sleigh Ride were, a little more herbal. I'd love for it to be rosemary and sage and outdoor air and fresh snow. I'd, be all over that. It's not quite that, but it's got the spruce, which gives a little iciness. Again, it's got the fig. It's not a traditional fig. It's no Fig Newton, nothing sweet, overly sweet or bakery like that. So give it a chance, but I think it's very nice. It's very unique as far as that goes. It's not quite the same as, your Vanilla Firewood, Good Natured Christmas that are just kind of weird. So, never promised this wouldn't be a long video. This is for you fragrance fans out there. I know you're out there, and I love that you watch. Again, this is... my first impressions. It could change. It's a hot August day right now, so my nose could also change as I go through my fall scents and finally get into my winter collections. But just a quick overview again. We have here Vanilla Firewood, Vanilla Cedarwood, Winter Fig, Apple Garland, Good Natured Christmas, and Autumn Snow. In stores also will be Winter, Fireside, and Snowed In, and White Bar number 2, Chestnut and Clove. Stay tuned for my next video, which I think will go into the Celebrations collection. That will be the next one coming up. So if you have questions about this or comments, please hit me below and stay tuned.